Welcome back. Now, this is Salam Media Mid-Morning Talk with Maimoona Mabena, and we are doing a Women's Month special and really paying tribute to all the women in our lives, our sisters, our mothers. And I'm quite delighted to, welcome Professor Sindile Ngubane, founder of Mthombo Professional Network, head of the Institution for Open and Distance Learning at UNISA, African lead for the International Council for Distance Education, and Advocacy and Knowledge Generation Program Director at the African Council for Distance Education. She's also an NRF C2 rated researcher focused on digital access for students and employees with disabilities, incarcerated students, and women in ODL, which I believe is open and distance learning. Assalamu alaikum, Professor. Jazakallah so much for taking the time and truly joining us this morning.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh to you and to the listeners, stroke viewers. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Alhamdulillah. Now, before we get into, getting to understand who and getting to know who Professor is and what she's all about, Utumenga, and I think it's important for us to just, take a bit of a sip of ice cold water and break, the tension if there is any. And I'd like to ask Professor something in terms of if you could instantly master one skill, what would it be?
Karate.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. But why, if you don't mind me asking?
Martial arts is not just about self-defense, which is very much needed in South Africa, as we know very well that there's a high numbers, or should I say statistics of women abuse. But also it's about discipline. It's about how you actually, as much as you have the skill to defend yourself, you use it correctly. And I think that is something that we really need to learn now, how to keep yourself calm, because things are just, they say siyagoisha, there's too much happening, the economy is bad. So if you are not calm, actually you are going to fall apart.
And the sad part, we're all on survival mode. And just diving into Professor Ngubane, we see you, we hear you, we've been around you. Take us through your key moments from Pietermaritzburg to, being in Pretoria, Joburg, and just spearheading so many projects and initiatives. Tell us a bit about who is Professor Ngubane. What is she all about?
She's all about listening to the voiceless. Actually, when I get into a room, I look at the people that are unseen, because I know very well that it's very easy for people to notice the rich, the famous, the what. And being a child that is from a rural area, who has also had to, be motivated by other people to actually believe in myself. I therefore look at those people that are quiet and are always, invisible, to just see how I can polish those diamonds. And sometimes they're actually very, very highly valued diamonds, but they do not realize that in themselves. So Sindile is just about seeing how you can make people feel valuable, how they can actually use the skills and knowledge that Allah has given to each and every one of us, so that they can live sustainable lives. I'm all about seeing how we can change life from, lack of hope to hoping and hope, and also then you becoming a change agent, because once you've actually given someone a skill to survive, they then should be able to do the same thing to someone else. So that's all I'm who I am.
Thank
I hope
you
that
for
makes sense.
It certainly does make sense. It certainly does make sense. And you mentioned something quite interesting, that you looked up to someone who helped you also, be someone who's much, how can I say, acknowledging of your dreams and your aspirations. And then this brings me to ask you, who was the most influential woman, I mean, given it's Women's Month, in your formative years? And what's the one thing you took from them, or two things?
I know this is going to sound very normal, but I can tell you now, my mother, very impactful in my life, with all the women that she led. My mother had what we call umasingcwabisane, a
Okay.
funeral sort of, yeah, a burial society.
Yeah.
So you grow up looking at this woman, people will come and report death at home. People will come and pay money every month, and she will keep on saying that honesty is very important. I might
Mm,
have these people's money, but remember, I need to actually treat it as Islamically we say amana,
mm,
because when the death happens, I need to make sure that everything is taken care of, because that is when they are at their lowest. So growing up with someone that will teach you the importance of honesty, the
mm,
importance of seeing everyone that comes home and giving them, should say, even if there is nothing to eat, but there should be an orange that you can cut into four and share with
mm,
these people. Make a cup of tea. So I didn't grow up, I'm not from a privileged background, but I grew up in the hands of a woman who said, we are rich because God
mm.
cannot bring you into this world and make you lack. Actually, we are not poor. So if you grow up in the hands of someone who makes you believe in the God unseen, which he cannot bring you in this world and make you suffer, then what more do you want, really?
Now, Professor, from the conversation, you really seem like someone who's quite observant, because often you find people walk into rooms and then you just, like for me personally, I would go to what I'm going to and then probably observe because I'm not the star of the show. But yeah, and this makes me want to ask you, in your experience and in your, programs and initiatives, if I can say, what have you noticed most as the most persisting barriers that exist against women, especially when you're looking at open and distance learning and also considering a workplace?
Um, most when you look at actually even our graduations, our highest numbers in terms of enrollment, it's women.
Mm, okay.
So when you look at the term, like the issue of access to education,
Mm,
the whole fight about, promoting women, the girl child, and all that, I think we are getting to a point where I can say that we are winning it, because in our graduations, the highest numbers is women. Now, for me, I've always said that this is like, if it's victory if we are looking at it from the point of, emancipation of women and all that. But
mm,
what this has done is that the boy child has become, I think they've become hopeless. They've actually gone to the back now of the room, where if there is like 100% of these numbers in the graduation, there'll only be 10% of boys. Now
mm,
that bothers me, because remember, we as Muslims, and I think as African communities generally, we believe that the family is actually what makes the society to be sustainable. Now, when you get more girls succeeding and doing these things that, we can do it on our own, now you wonder, who's going to be their husband, who's going to be the leaders in the communities, where are the brothers, where are the uncles, and all that. So this is what is actually has become something that bothers me the most. I keep on saying that, yes, we are moving with the girl child, as it is August, the Women's Month. But let's remember that Allah created us in pairs. There is no way that we are going to celebrate the girl child and leave the boy child behind, because in the long run, we'll then have, unstable societies, unbalanced, imbalanced societies, where girls are there now and they have everything, but there's no one to be their companion. So that is what is bothering me the most. And I am hoping, when we do research with other people that are in the field of research, I'm glad that they are noticing that there's something that is happening in the community, and we are starting to address the issue of not leaving the boy child behind, while we are working on the girl child and ensuring that they are protected and all that. But we cannot then demonize every male child because of the sins of those men that have abused the women. So that is the biggest issue that I'm having at the moment.
Now, I think you've given us something to really ponder about when it comes to the imbalance in terms of, developing either the girl child and how the boy child is now left behind. And I think let's think about it, viewers at home, and let us know your thoughts. But for now, let's head over to an ad break. When we come back, we've got more for you with Professor Mentorship Ngubane.
When the perfect blend of stylish decor, exquisite halal cuisine, and warm hospitality come together, it could only mean Albeit Lodge, your true home away from home. Albeit is the ideal heaven for families, business people, and tourists with its 4-star family rooms and other luxurious facilities, conveniently situated close to Port Elizabeth Airport, the beach, and other amenities. Your stay will be truly unforgettable, as you'll be taking home lasting memories of the warm hospitality, the serenity and tranquility that Albeit has to offer. For reservations, call 041 583 6415 or visit www.albeitlodge.co.za.
Hey Gulam.
Yeah?
Did I return your lawnmower last month?
No, bye, you didn't.
Oh no. Now what'll I do? I wanted to borrow it again, man.
With Randry Jewelers, you won't have to borrow or lend because the prices are so well trimmed on all gold and diamond jewelry. Alternatively, we could remake your old jewelry into a brilliant new design. Visit Randry Jewelers at 151 Stevens Lamini Road, Musgrave, Durban. Randry Jewelers, the family name you can trust.
Gaza needs your support more than ever. Homes have been shattered and families have lost everything. With your support, our teams are delivering clean water tankers, feeding the hungry, and assisting orphans who have no one left. Let us give Gaza whatever help we can. African Muslims Agency, empowering, educating, inspiring.
Are you banking with convenience, transparency, and flexibility? With Al Barakah Bank's transactional banking account, you can enjoy convenient everyday banking designed around your needs. Benefit from zero fees on point-of-sale transactions and manage your banking easily through Al Barakah's secure mobile banking app and internet banking platform. From everyday payments to managing your personal or business banking, Al Barakah makes banking simple, transparent, and convenient. Visit albarakah.co.za to learn more. Al Barakah, your partner bank. Al Barakah Bank Limited is an authorized financial services and credit provider.
We work hard to build our homes, businesses, and futures. Protecting them shouldn't mean compromising the values that matter most. ACNE Group of Companies, a Muslim-owned business, offers our short-term diamond insurance covers founded on ethical principles, transparency, integrity, and responsible service. This allows us to provide insurance solutions that align with ethical values while maintaining the protection and service standards you expect. To ensure complete peace of mind, all premiums, claims, and premium investment funds are managed through designated Sharia-compliant bank accounts, reflecting our ongoing commitment to ethical and responsible financial practices. From your first inquiry to the moment you need to claim, we are committed to providing professional, transparent, and reliable support. Choose insurance that reflects your values while giving you confidence and peace of mind. Speak to ACNE Group of Companies today to learn more about our commercial, engineering, professional indemnity, and liability diamond insurance covers. Call Rafik Isaacs on 084-822-6570. ACNE Group of Companies comprises authorized financial services providers under FSP numbers 43281, 4553, and 45915. Products are underwritten by New National Assurance Company Limited, FSP number 2603.
Rejuvenating media day by day. This is Salam Media.
Welcome back, viewers and listeners at home, workspace, or at the office, or you're just running an errand. We have quite a very interesting conversation here with myself, Professor Sindile Ngubane, who is really sharing in her journey as well as her concerns and things that she's hopeful about when it comes to, South Africa in general, or even globally in that sense. And before the ad break, Professor, you had mentioned, Uguti, we're seeing the rise in women in terms terms of taking up space. But unfortunately, we are seeing also it's becoming lopsided, where the boy child is now left behind. And I believe that you are someone who speaks very highly about the importance of mentorship. And I believe with mentorship, mentorship doesn't look at necessarily gender, race, but it's tailor made for what you want it to be in that sense. And I'd like to find out from you, if you were to bring an understanding of what mentorship is as a public good, how would you best, define it?
For me, I see mentorship as actually a means through which we are able to share the bounties that Allah has afforded us. If you allow me to actually just touch from what we do with Mthombo, is that we are looking at professionals that, remember, some of them have been educated through zakat. Others have had, the blessing of having parents that could educate them. Others have had to actually struggle through and, until they made it. But even the fact that they made it is also just, it's a favor from the Almighty. So when you are mentoring someone, you are actually trying to find a way of, unleashing, supporting them so that they unleash their potential. And when you are doing that, it could be either the person, approaches you and says, you know what, I think I'm good with this, but I'm lacking in this particular aspect, and I think you are good in it. Can you please assist me with it? I'll give you an example. As we work in different areas, there are people that we call the digital, immigrants, because maybe they were born before technology, or due to their socio-economic, circumstances, they might not have been exposed to technology. So they would actually approach the so-called digital migrants, and the people that actually have grown up with laptops, while they were at a very young age, and sophisticated technologies. And then they'll say, can you actually mentor me on how to leverage technology, in a way that actually enables me to do my work better, or to do business and all that. And there you come in now, where you see mentorship that is specific to a certain area. It's not like it's a fully complete sort of, package. Then you have issues where someone says, I would love to do, let's say, for example, I'd love to do engineering. And this is what normally happens when you talk to young people. And the first question someone will ask is, how is your maths? How is your science? And you'll find that this person is actually not performing very well in mathematics and science. And then you'll make the person realize two things, to say, okay, if you want to be in the engineering field, you then need to make sure that you get extra classes, and you are not just going to say extra classes. You are going to try and direct the person to say, try this platform. This is a free platform that you can use. It's online, and you can actually, if you pay attention, you'll be able to improve your maths, performance and science, and therefore you'll get into engineering. And then there'll be the other one that you are going to say, you know what? Maybe you've tried to use the extra classes and still it's not working. And those are the people that, no matter how hard they might want to be in the STEM field, but they're not gifted in sciences. Then you are going to say, you know what, as much as I know that you are passionate about engineering, but also consider applying in the TVET colleges, where they might not need very high marks for mathematics. So you are not completely moving the person from what they want, but you are giving them an access that they can afford to get in because of their mathematics performance. So you send them to the TVET, and then they'll start maybe at a diploma level, then they go higher and higher. And then there'll be another one that you are just going to say, no, it seems your maths is not good enough. How about you try this other field? So you see here, it's more a deep kind of mentorship. You are trying to make the person understand that, yes, you might have passion, but unfortunately, your cognitive abilities are not matched to what you are actually looking forward to doing. So mentorship should be where you are seriously and deeply interested in the growth of this person. You need to be honest to them, but also not harsh. You don't make them lose confidence and their self-esteem. You usher them and nurture them in such a way that they are able to say, aha, I'm actually lacking in this, and actually I'm not putting enough effort. If I put more effort, I can do this. And then it's a negotiated space so that when this person succeeds at the end of the day, they own their success. You don't take it away. You are just there to support, not that the person must feel like you are doing or you are living their life for them.
And I love how you use the career space as a good example, because you notice that a young child, and even in this digital world, there are some kids who are not, they don't have the access to the internet as they should, where it's like, I want to be a teacher. They know every career on a very surface level. I want to be an accountant, or I want to be in finance. And they don't understand how, multifaceted or how deep finance is. I mean, you can be an advisor, you can be an finance investor, you can be so many things just under finance. And really with mentorship, it's a very guided journey, and it allows, less costs, because it is quite costly in terms of time, in terms of finances. But now this brings me to really ask you, have you noticed, or do you know of any structured circles that allow or create a more effective way of mentoring individuals?
Of course, we are one such a structure, Mthombo Professional Network. We are one, and I know there's many others that if one was to go into ChatGPT or whatever other platform that you use, these days, artificial intelligence can tell you anything from wherever you are. Or you can just do the normal way of Googling and checking what other platform is there. And these platforms are there with different kind of approaches. Our approach is to say we are going to use ourselves. For example, I'm in the research field, I'm in academia. So those that know me, they'll tell you that I'll always say that anyone can have a PhD. Anyone can teach at a university. Wherever I go, when we go to either schools or any other, areas, people are going to say, oh, she's going to poach our people, because I'm not shy to say to people that, what, a career change is always good. Don't be stuck in one company for the whole of your life just because you don't see yourself doing more than what you are doing. So we have people in the legal sector that will actually sit down and talk to you about specializations in law. And, you look at yourself. For example, you cannot have someone that easily gets, anxious and panic and all that, and they want to get into criminal law, because you are going to get, very tough cases that even yourself are going to shock you. So then you are sitting down and you say, okay, this is the particular law that I'd like to specialize in. We have accountants, we have human resource, we have all different fields of people that are saying, I don't want to be the only medical doctor in my area. I don't want to be the only professor in my area. I don't want to be the only marine, a technician in my area. I want to make sure that I expose more kids in my field and I show them how it can be done, so that at the end of the day, by the time Allah calls me, I should know that I've created 50 more of myself. You should be able to multiply yourself. Otherwise, that era where you felt good that you were the only medical doctor in your area and everyone will be praising you when you come in, it's out of fashion. The biggest currency now is that you must have a whole trail of people of, social capital that you've created by the mercy of Allah. And then that way there's succession planning in terms of the work that needs to be done. Even when you go, work is going to keep on going. And the people that you create, because they become your champions, then they will also know that they must create and multiply more people in that particular field. And eventually, I'm hoping that one day we'll have more ministers that are ethical and are skillful, and they will take South Africa, to the right place. And those ministers, I'm hoping that, besides being Muslim, but there'll be people that fear Allah and they know that they are there to serve, for the pleasure of Allah.
Amen. Now, Prof, we're going to take another ad break. And when we come back, we find out more in terms of how do we really build those sustainable communities, because we are out with the old ways of doing things where you're the only one. And trust you me, being the only one and having 500 clients, we've seen it in the healthcare system. It doesn't always work. But yeah, stay tuned right here on Mid-Morning Talks.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness. And every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and free zakat calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
Kids these days are smart, and when you're competing for their attention against their smartphones, you need to make smart choices, like using Sunfoil triple refined pure sunflower oil in every meal you make. It's naturally cholesterol-free and approved by the Heart and Stroke Foundation as part of a balanced eating plan. So whether you're cooking, frying, or baking, you get the great tasting results that'll get their attention faster than the latest app. And if that doesn't work, change the Wi-Fi password. Sunfoil. Now we're cooking.
When you give water, you bring life to drought-affected communities, providing fresh water for drinking, cleaning, and growing. Your support helps Islamic Relief implement water, sanitation, and hygiene projects, providing clean water to communities around the world. Donate now to Islamic Relief.
Right now, in lands many of us feel deeply connected to, a mother holds a sick child, worried and fearful as she knows her nearest hospital has been destroyed. This is the mother we go beyond borders to reach. Doctors Without Borders is there in the world's toughest places. We go where others can't or won't, and we go immediately. When you give to us, we go even further. Visit msf.org.za/sadaqa, that's SADAQAH, and support Doctors Without Borders today. Doctors Without Borders, we go there.
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media.
Welcome back to Mid-Morning Talk with myself, Maimoona, Mabena, and I am joined by Professor Sindile Ngubane, who is telling it all on the importance of mentorship, and also touched briefly on, Mthombo Professional Network in terms of what it's been doing and why it was actually established in terms of, creating prodigies of lawyers, accountants, great ministers who will really understand the meaning of servitude. And now moving on, Professor, I just want to find out from you in terms of, for someone who has been listening to our conversation and they're like, you know what, I don't think I want to risk going to an event and then networking and then asking someone to be my mentor, because that can be quite intimidating. I want to go via the Mthombo Professional Network route in terms of getting myself a mentor and getting, a very guided way of doing things that help cut down the cost of wasting time and wasting money and wasting resources. How does one become a member, if not, like, let's put it like this: how does one become mentored by Mthombo, and how does one also offer the services to Mthombo to continue this beautiful legacy that is being built by Mthombo?
No, thank you so much. For those that would like to be our mentors, soon we'll be launching our website, which will be Mthombo Professional Net. And for those also that would like to be, mentored, the mentees, you can always send me a message on 081-440-5569, and then I will, direct you to our WhatsApp line, which actually I've forgotten the number. I think Maimoona, if you still have it, I'd given it to you. It's just that I forgot to write it down. Then we can give it to them. But once the website is launched, you can always check for us on Mthombo Professional Network. That's where you'll then be able to click on the link if you want to be a mentor. And if you want to be mentored, you'll be able to click on the link, and we are going to respond to you accordingly. And we are really, pleading with people to say, we don't make you pay anything actually for the mentorship, because as I said, this is public good. Some of us were educated with public funds, and therefore we actually owe it to whoever, has been generous to us to actually give back to other people. But besides that, Mthombo is about giving back and ensuring that you share whatever you have. There are certain instances also where you might find that our professional mentors might feel that, maybe this time I had a better bonus than last year, and I would like to pay registration fees for some of the, underprivileged kids. So we are also, encouraging such, initiatives where we say, remember, there are people that will have the necessary results but might not be able to even pay the registration fee. And what does the registration fee does for any child is that then it gives them, just they have their foot inside the college or the university or whatever it is. And then they are able to apply for the bursaries or whatever other loans and whatever that is inside. But once they have the registration, they then know that they have the status of being a student. And just like myself, there are times when I didn't have the necessary fees for carrying on, but my results, because like at UKZN, if you had a distinction, you'll then be able to carry on to the next year. So we also encourage that, to say, let's support each other so that at the end of the day, we will all succeed together. And we go further also to say, if there are opportunities for jobs and people might need to be coached on how to go into an interview, how do you respond when you are actually going through an interview. We also do that because most of us are managers in different spaces, and we are able to see that, this one is not going to get the job because of the way they respond or the way that they do certain things. So the coaching or the mentorship itself is actually holistic. It's not just about careers only. It's about changing your career also. You might feel that, I no longer want to be a professor. I want to go and lead an NGO. And then you can approach, Sister Zaitun Mabena, who's running a very, a good NGO, or you can approach, I don't know who else, and say, I would like now to get into this NPO space because I can see it's benefiting the community. And then she's able to mentor you in that particular space. We look at issues of how we can support each other, with compliance, because many people are actually doing this community work, but they tend to lose the funding from government because they are not compliant. And it's not us who will do that. We'll connect you with another organization, because that's another thing. Mthombo is not competing with the existing structures, but we seek collaborations so that we can see how we can all work together to actually improve our communities and ensure that they are sustainable.
And with that, seeing Professor holds a lot of offices and is doing a lot of selfless work, and it's all about really showcasing the spirit of paying it forward, the spirit of partnering, the spirit of collaborating. What was the most important risk you have taken in your career, and what was that teaching moment in that risk?
There's a point in my life where I was a teacher, and I felt like, no, I cannot do this, and I actually stopped working completely and went back to school. Now, for people that know, that's like it's a serious risk, because all of a sudden you've lost income, and you have to actually see now, even if you might have, someone that is there, but being unable to buy yourself a perfume is also just not cool when you were able to buy yourself a roll-on before. So that risk of having to stop working completely, and having to go back to school and hope that by the time I finish, I'll be able to get a reliable employment, and something that I'll be able to, because this is the thing with me. I remember my PhD supervisor used to say this: Sindile, you can't be a scholar and a social activist. And I told her that yes, I am going to be both, because I believe that whatever you do, it must make an impact in the community. I cannot, do something where I won't see the impact of the work that I do. So I think that was the biggest risk. And alhamdulillah, here I am. And I can tell anyone that wants to take a calculated risk, not just a risk where you stopped working and then your kids do not have food, but a risk where it's calculated. I'll be able to do this, and you follow your timelines, you finish this by that time, you network enough, you also volunteer so that you are exposed to many people, and therefore you don't suffer, because people know what skills you have to give, and then you are able to cross over to where you want to be.
And you mentioned something very beautiful, the power of volunteering, especially if you're someone who is studying and you have free time. Volunteering is very important because it opens you to so many things in terms of opportunity, engaging with different people, and it also gives you that sense of personal growth, because you grow to understand people, you grow to understand things. But Professor, there's another question I want to ask. Hey, my questions are money, and this is coming from your response when it comes to the risk that you took, because a lot of women, if I can put it, because we know that in South Africa many homes are single parented homes which are run by women, and you find that the mother is not, or the parent is just not happy in the career that they're in, and they want to now venture into something else, but the realities of expenses, responsibilities, and the potential emergencies, it's like, what, stay where you are, and begazela for whatever that comes. And given your response, I want to find out from you, what kind of advice or visible pathways will you be able to share with those particular women who are in that position?
Lucky enough, I'm from a university that is a university, we call ourselves the University of the Land, because we are from the University of South Africa. And the mode of study is actually open distance learning, meaning that should you consider changing your career and you need to first maybe undergo some kind of training, you don't need to leave the job first. Instead, you register and then you study through online means, and so it's a matter of how then do you manage your time between work, being at home and being a mother or wife, and then making sure that you submit your assignments and you learn and succeed. So the mode is always actually convenient for people that are either mothers, whether single or they're married. It's convenient for people that are working. It's convenient for people that are in the military because they cannot go to school permanently. It's convenient for people that are displaced. For example, if you are a refugee, you can study from through UNISA, because then you don't need to be located in any particular country. So women that actually, or even men that would like to change their careers, I would really encourage them to visit our website and check. And the nice thing, some people think that everyone wants to do a degree. There are also short learning programs that one can do, and those short learning programs will give you an accredited kind of certificate that will then you are able to present and say, you know what, as much as I was a human resource person, now I have done accounting, so a certificate in accounting, diploma in accounting, and now I would like to change my route. I'm getting into finance or whatever else. So the path of open distance learning is actually meant for people that are quite busy but still have inspiration to change their life through education. And that is why even people that are in prison, they study through the UNISA, because I know very well that some people would say, yeah, but they messed up. But remember, education is a means through which you can be rehabilitated. And when you get out, instead of stealing or whatever that you were doing, you can then, have a certificate to be able to get a job. A proper, honest job. If not, start your business, because also we are encouraging to say that entrepreneurship is actually the way to go, because if you know that very well, you don't want to be someone that is sitting 8 to 4 in one office, you want to try this and that and hustle, and all these things, then go for entrepreneurship. You can be actually having multiple, sources of income, because in the morning you are doing this, then in the evening you are doing that, or in between you are doing that. So the hustling also needs people that, can go through mentorship, and you understand from people that are in entrepreneurship, how do they get these things done? And you'll see yourself actually living a life where, by the grace of Allah, you can even start giving zakat. And before you even zakat, you start giving sadaqah, because that's where we need to start. There is no way that a whole week can finish for a Muslim and you've not given sadaqah. Then there's a problem, and you'll never live a sustainable life until you can give out sadaqah. And as time goes by, you are able to give zakat, inshallah.
Professor, when we come back, we're wrapping up our conversation, and I'd like you to gift our viewers with something quite, sustainable and hopefully building. And for that, we'll have to take a net break. When we come back, stay tuned for that gift.
The following is a paid political advertisement by the Al Jama'ah political party.
Regularization and the alternative political party for South Africa is the Al Jama'ah effect. Roads will be fixed, refuse will be removed, and personal safety in your homes, streets, parks, and pathways to the local shops and shopping malls will be our top priority. Al Jama'ah aim to regularize shack dwellers by giving them land tenure, regularize water and electricity supply by making it a reliable source. Vote for good governance, accelerated service delivery, excellence, and the best of breed of councillors, mayors, and mayoral committee members. That is the Al Jama'ah effect, South Africa's alternative political party, the Al Jama'ah effect.
That was a paid political advertisement by the Al Jama'ah political party.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042-203-1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
There are over 200 million orphans globally. We can't help all of them, but what if we each helped just one? The Al Imdad Foundation now gives you an opportunity to help just one orphan from Syria or Palestine. For just 500 Rand per month, you can help safeguard the dignity of an orphan by assisting them with basic needs such as food, clothing, shelter, medical care, and attention. Our orphan sponsorship program allows you to track the progress of your orphan through regular feedback. Make a difference in the life of an orphan today. Visit alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
World-class financial services only at Sapphire Global, your financial partner. If you are looking for Islamic, Sharia, and ethical financial products, look no further. Sapphire Global offers a wide range of financial service offerings from short-term to life and investments. A full-service center with all financial requirements under one brand. Our highly skilled and experienced consultants are ready to help protect your financial future. Contact us on 041 001 0184 or visit our website on www.sapphire.co.za.
www.sapphireglobalfs.com. Sapphire Global is an authorized financial services provider.
Tonight, a child in a shack will try to sleep through the cold. No heating, no insulation, just thin walls and a biting cold. African Muslims Agency is on the ground, reaching families in informal settlements across South Africa with blankets and winter essentials. Help us spread warmth this winter. For 180 Rand, give a blanket. For 360 Rand, a full winter pack. One gift, one less night in the cold. Africa Muslims Agency. Empowering, educating, inspiring.
It's a new beginning. It's a new era. Salam Media, humanitarian journalism.
Welcome back, viewers at home. We're still having a conversation with Professor Sindile Ngubane, who is sharing in, all things around, mentorship, around paying it forward, around really how to sustain yourself and sustain your money through zakah and giving in charity. And now, Professor, I know before the ad break, I did ask to say you're gonna kindly leave us with a gift, right? And in the spirit of Women's Month, I'm just going to park it for a little bit and ask you, what kind of legacy do you hope to leave behind for the next generations?
It's really selflessness. I know that there's been this very serious promotion on me, I did that, I didn't do this and that. Can we just learn to be selfless? Wish well, and there's no culture actually that doesn't say that. Ubuntu says that I am because you are. Umuntu ngabantu. So let's actually practice the thing of loving what we love for our neighbor, what we love for ourselves. If we can start there, where we stop bragging about how our kids have become this and this, but try to see how you can actually adopt another family that is actually struggling. There are so many child-headed households. Let's adopt these families and assist these kids actually to be able to, live sustainable lives. And it doesn't mean that you are going to adopt formally where now they become yours, but where you make time to go with your children that are privileged into this family and let them experience, to say that we still believe in you and we think that you can make it. So that selflessness, you don't know how much it actually brightens someone's life when they know that there's someone who believes in them. It's not always about giving money, but it's just about giving hope to the other person.
And if you could gift every woman starting her career a tool, one tool for navigating setbacks, what it would be and how would or how should they use it?
For me, it's just that it's not something, remember, it's not one size fits all. And therefore, I would say, and unfortunately, this will have to be for people that are here in Gauteng, to say, if I can, to your state, to your studio, get at least, let's say, 5 women that want to change their life, get access to proper mentorship and all that. If they can write to you the first 5 and they give you their details, then we will have a branch with them and so that we understand how we can support them. And then we'll tailor make the tools for each and every one of them, because you can't say, this is what I can do. You first need to understand the circumstances, what are the needs of that particular person, and then you are able to say, this is what will work well for you and this. So we just need 5 women that live in Gauteng, unfortunately, because that's where we are stationed at the moment. And then once they get in touch with you at the studio there, then they leave their details. We'll get back to them and organize the branch with our executive members. Then we'll see what kind of tailor-made, intervention we can make for them. I hope that is a gift fee, good enough for our women. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Jazakallah so much. I'm quickly trying to really share the Mthombo number just for listeners who are quite interested in being a member or just keeping in touch with Professor herself and the services that they offer. The number is 070-415-9331. I'll repeat that, 070-415-9331. And definitely we will get those numbers. And if you are interested, definitely do WhatsApp us your name and surname, as well as probably just a brief insight in terms of your career or aspirational career field on 061-766-0355. And who knows, it could be you. So jazakallah so much, Professor, for truly taking out the time and saying, you know what, I'm gonna spend it in being selfless and giving away to women. We didn't expect that. I personally didn't expect that. I expected you to say, you know what, apply, make sure you look presentable for the interview. But yeah, you went up and beyond. But jazakallah so much. May Allah Ta'ala continue to reward you in this work that you do of selfless work and serving communities. May it be, a testament on the day of Qiyamah that it attains you Jannatul Firdaus, and may it be an inspiration to myself and the listeners and viewers in terms of, how can we actually, build our communities beyond Mina syndrome. Jazakallah so much, Professor.
Barakallah, barakallah, jazakumullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam, viewers at home and listeners. That was Professor Sindile Ngubane, who is the founder of Mthombo Professional Network, and also, wears so many hats in terms of heading the Institution of Open and Distance Learning at UNISA, as well as Program Director for the Advocacy and Knowledge Generation and Dissemination. So, So I hope you guys did enjoy the conversation, and do let us know through our WhatsApp line and even studio line in terms of what are your thoughts in terms of Women's Month? What are your thoughts with regards to the conversation we just had with Professor Ngubane? But do not go too far, because coming up, we still have all things on fighting against hunger. See you just after this.